The X-Men universe is expanding, and one of its most popular characters could be getting his own movie. Quicksilver, the mutant with super speed, has been a fan favorite since his first appearance in X-Men Days of Future Past. A Quicksilver movie would be a fantastic chance to explore the character's motivations and history. He has a lot of potentials and is a complicated character who could make a terrific superhero lead. Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in the X-Men films, recently said that he would be interested in starring in a solo movie. So, is the speedster getting his own movie? Let's take a quick look at all the information as we know it. Evan Peters' Quicksilver representation was one of the highlights of Fox's X-Men film franchise, and he is now officially part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in WandaVision. Peters was recast in the role of Pietro Maximoff, the late twin brother of Elizabeth Olsen, known as Wanda Maximoff. Aaron Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver in the MCU, and he died in Avengers: Age of Ultron. The presence of Quicksilver in both the X-Men films and the MCU is due to Marvel's unusual allocation of character rights. For many years, Marvel's X-Men and mutant characters were owned by Fox, not Disney. In the comics, this includes Quicksilver, a mutant, and Magneto's son. However, he was also an Avenger, and when Marvel Studios launched the MCU, they retained the rights to the Avengers roster of characters, including Quicksilver. As Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige noted in 2012, even after many years of negotiations, there are only a few characters who occupy that middle ground, a few gray points. That only happens with a guy like Quicksilver, who has been a member of the X-Men, Magneto's son in those publications, but also a key Avenger. This is why Marvel Studios was able to include Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch in 2015's Avengers: Age of Ultron, despite Fox beating Marvel to the punch a year earlier with X-Men: Days of Future Past. Despite this, the two Quicksilvers had nothing in common other than their superhuman speed and white hair. The Mind Stone gave Pietro Maximoff his powers in the MCU, while in the X-Men movies, Evan Peters' Quicksilver, called Peter Maximoff, was a mutant whose father was Magneto, Michael Fassbender, and he was decades older than the MCU's speedster in the X-Men movies' updated chronology. On the other hand, after Disney, Marvel Studios' parent company, purchased Fox in 2019, the licensing difficulties between Marvel and Fox were moot, allowing Fox-owned characters such as the X-Men to be merged into the MCU. The X-Men films really had a head start on Marvel as they teased Quicksilver 11 years earlier when he appeared in Days of Future Past. The name Maximoff followed the number 2 was on a list of known mutants visible on a computer screen in 2003's X2 X-Men United. This meant the Scarlet Witch was included in the Easter egg, despite the fact that the X-Men franchise never attempted to develop their own version of Wanda. Regardless, Evan Peters' Quicksilver quickly became one of the most popular characters in the X-Men films, and Peter Maximoff was far more popular than Aaron Taylor Johnson's Pietro. Here's every appearance Evan Peters' Quicksilver has made in the X-Men films and also in WandaVision. Peter Maximoff originally appeared in the 1973 portion of X-Men: Days of Future Past. Wolverine, known as Hugh Jackman, recommended Peter after he time-traveled from a post-apocalyptic future in which the Sentinels were carrying out a mutant slaughter. Logan, James McAvoy, known as Charles Xavier, and Nicholas Hoult, known as Hank McCoy, recruited Peter and his super speed to break into a secure plastic cell beneath the Pentagon in order to free Magneto, who was imprisoned for assassinating President John F. Kennedy, despite Magneto's claim that he tried to save JFK, who was secretly a mutant. Quicksilver reappeared in X-Men Apocalypse, which was set in 1983, when Peter Maximoff was still a self-described loser living in his mother's basement. But 10 years later, Peter was certain Magneto was his father. After Magneto reappeared in Poland, killed the police officers responsible for his daughter's death, and joined forces with Apocalypse, Oscar Isaac, Quicksilver tried to help but was too late, so he rocketed to the Xavier School to find the X-Men. During the events of Dark Phoenix in 1992, Quicksilver was still an X-Men member. During a space shuttle rescue mission, Peter joined the crew when Jean Grey, as Sophie Turner, merged with cosmic energy that transformed her into the Dark Phoenix. Quicksilver was delighted to attribute the mission's success to the young children of Xavier's school. However, as Jean evolved into the Dark Phoenix and became more unstable, she returned to her hometown to confront her father, who had separated from her. Quicksilver joined the X-Men when they went to recover Jean. The war was catastrophic, and Mystique died as a result. Jean wounded Quicksilver's legs during the battle, and he sat out the rest of the film, but he remained a teacher at the Xavier School after Professor X resigned and Beast took over as headmaster. Although Deadpool 2 is set in 2018, 26 years after Dark Phoenix, Quicksilver and many other X-Men made an amusing appearance. Wade Wilson, who played Ryan Reynolds, was complaining about how quiet the X-Mansion was when he didn't notice Quicksilver, Beast, Professor X, Cyclops as Ty Sheridan, Storm as Alexander Shipp, and Nightcrawler as Cody Smith-McPhee in a room behind him, and they closed the door to keep Deadpool out. WandaVision Episode 5, on a very special episode, ended with the surprising arrival of Evan Peters' Quicksilver at Wanda Maximoff and Vision's door, with Peters recreated as Wanda's twin Pietro, replacing Aaron Taylor Johnson's MCU Quicksilver. One of the numerous mysteries of the Disney program was how this happened, and there was significant speculation that Evan Peters' Quicksilver had actually arrived from the X-Men movies timeline to invade Westview via the multiverse. However, it was later revealed that Evan Peters was actually playing Ralph Bohner, an actor whose body Agatha Harkness had kidnapped as part of her larger plot to destabilize Wanda. It's unclear why Agatha's Quicksilver resembles Evan Peters rather than the Quicksilver Wanda remembers, but it could be related to variants and the larger multiverse discovered since WandaVision in the MCU's Phase 4. The Evan Peters Quicksilver Ralph Bohner bait and switch was one of the most contentious moments in the MCU, and it meant that WandaVision was met with skepticism by some fans. The X-Men's arrival in the MCU has been one of the most eagerly anticipated updates to the franchise since its inception. Some considered Marvel and Disney's use of Evan Peters in WandaVision to be a cynical, fan-baiting exercise to drive views between episodes. Now that mutants are a part of the MCU and Disney Marvel have shown no reluctance in recasting fan favorites from Fox's X-Men era, there has never been a better moment for Evan Peters' Quicksilver to return to the MCU. Or he has made his own movie for real this time, as evidenced by his presence in WandaVision. There is certainly a desire for the American Horror Story star to continue playing Marvel's token speedster. A return would also help to explain why Agatha chose Ralph Bohner as her Quicksilver stand-in. If the majority of Quicksilver variants resemble Peters rather than Aaron Taylor Johnson, it would explain why Agatha's magic used his face to create a Quicksilver to torment Wanda with. There are now speculations that Quicksilver will have his own solo film. While nothing has been formally proven, there are some indications that this is the case. For starters, Peters has teased the prospect of a Quicksilver film on social media. He has also met with directors and writers to discuss the project. No matter what direction the movie takes, it has the potential to be a great addition to the X-Men universe. Quicksilver is a popular and beloved character, and he deserves his own chance to shine. Well, that's it. For now, make sure that you like our video. Please share your views and opinions in the comments section with us. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest news and reviews on upcoming movies from us. And do not forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you at the next one.